Error isolation code can actually keep the system from running, because SolarEdge will not run if that code is going through the system. And basically that code is saying that there is a ground fault. Somewhere along the line, there's copper exposed. So now that we figured out that 5 panels are not working, it's not producing 5 volts, we're going to install 5 optimizers, pull our voltage, and see if we still have an isolation ground. If we still have an isolation ground, it's the jumpers. Somewhere along that jumper it's nicked, which is causing a ground fault. That'll be the next thing that we fix. So step 1, check your voltage at your inverter. You have 2 strings, count how many panels you have, and you should get that amount of voltage. Step 2, if you are not getting that amount of voltage, you need to get up on the roof, open up where the solar decks are at, and check your voltage at your solar decks. Make sure that your arrays are getting the correct amount of voltage. Now remember, if you have 8 panels, you should be getting 8 volts. It varies. It has to be at least 8 volts on SolarEdge. It could be like 8.38. But if you're getting 7.2 volts, one of your panels or one of your optimizers are not working correctly. The array that we're testing has 21 panels. 16 of them panels is one string line. So when we test that, we should get at least 16 volts. We're reading 16.40. On SolarEdge, you typically get 1 volt per optimizer per panel. On our second string jumper, we should be getting at least 5 volts. There's 5 optimizers, you should be getting 5 volts. When we pull the voltage from the jumper from the array of the 21 using the 5 panels, we do not get 5 volts. Real simple. That means that 5 of the optimizers are no good. We can also double check this and actually go to the panel and individually test the optimizers. If we individually check the optimizers, we should be getting at least 1 volt per optimizer per panel with SolarEdge. It's the optimizers. So we're going to change out the optimizers, and then we're going to do a ground fault test. So now we're aware that we've got 5 optimizers out. It doesn't necessarily solve the isolation issue, but it does solve the fact that we're not reading the correct voltage down at the inverter. Step 3, you want to basically check your connections. SolarEdge has optimizers and they already have the MC4 cables in them, which connect negative and your positive. So you should be good on the factory crimp, but when you pull your own string and you have to crimp your own positive and crimp your own negative in order for the array to work, check those. Make sure the installer did those right. So the other test with the optimizer is basically, it's going to be, you can test your optimizer by putting your negative and your positive on just a single panel. If you get no voltage from it, then your optimizer is bad. So basically this optimizer is 0.002. This optimizer is no good. We have new optimizers. We'll put them in and we'll get a voltage and make sure that we get at least 1 volt. After installing the new optimizer, we get 1.16 volts. Step 4, I would say check your voltage after you checked your wires, and it could be a small error of one optimizer being bad and it wrecks the whole system. So check your voltage. If 5's only working if you're getting 5 volts only out of 10, then that means there's an optimizer, bad optimizer. 9 times out of 10, if you had a ground fault, it could have burnt up the optimizer. For step 4, we basically get voltage from the whole system. We are now producing 5.14 volts for the 5 optimizers we changed. After said and done, getting the correct voltage and still experiencing a ground fault. Step 5. The one that you never want to have to do, but you do have to do it in order to get the system to work. And that's the jumpers that go through the attic that connect the arrays together. Some installers, they'll basically run pipe to jump these, but when you have an array on one side of the roof, on the other side of the roof, you have to run that jumper in the attic. Now, who knows what happens? It's dark in there, it's tight, it's hot. These wires get nicked, and once they get nicked, it's going to cause a ground fault. And basically, this isolation error code will not allow your system to run. SolarEdge will not run with that code. This is the cause of the isolation ground fault. Small nicks in the array caused the code 1886. So it's been a long day, but we basically changed out the jumper, used a new connector, and we found out the wire was actually nicked. So it was a very long day, but successful. We are now communicating all 29 out of 29 optimizers. We are now no longer getting the isolation code. There is no longer a ground faulty. Thank you for watching the video. If I missed anything or anybody has some good information, just put it down in the comments. Thank you. Please subscribe.